What's up, Group Coach Nation? I got Rhonda Sher with us today. Rhonda is someone I asked to come on here specifically because of two reasons. One, we know you tune in because you want to see under the hood how people have actually made their group coaching programs and masterminds. Rhonda's done it. You'll be fascinated by that. Also, Rhonda's LinkedIn expert. She builds and structures packages to make your calendar get full on LinkedIn. So she has a group coaching program about that. So we can talk about how to get your calendar filled up, and we can talk about how to use LinkedIn, and we can talk about how her group coaching program actually functions, how she built it, what she thought. So Rhonda, welcome. Glad you're here.
Thanks, Chris. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, give us a little bit about you.
So I'll just give you the very short version, okay? In 1980, when I got married, okay, a long time ago, probably before you were born or anybody else, but my husband said to me, I have one request. And I said, what's that? He said, please don't make more money than me. Now, I have two daughters, okay? They're 33 and 35. And if anybody ever said that to them, I would tell them to run, not walk. But that was a different time. So fast forward, we were married for 28 years and things kind of took a wrong turn around the 28th year. We ended up getting an amicable divorce. And at the same time, my mom passed away. We short sailed a house. I had a cancer scare, all kinds of stuff. And what happened was we had a 6.5-year divorce. And during that time, I had to figure out how to make money. I thought I was going to be one of those supermarket greeters. I thought, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And then I realized that I could use I could get my life insurance license and I could use LinkedIn to fill my calendar. So what I did was I started reaching out on LinkedIn. Within a year, I was making 6 figures. And I figured out 2 things. Number one, I didn't like selling life insurance. And number 2, I had a system that literally anybody could use and duplicate to generate the kind of income they wanted. So fast forward to 2016, which was 6.5 years later, my husband and I reconnected. We had a friendly divorce. And he said, when we decided to get married again, he said, I have only one request. And I said, what's that? He said, please make more money than me. Well, believe it or not, using LinkedIn, using group programs, I was able to replace his very big corporate salary using LinkedIn. He has been retired since 2020. So I like to say I have a husband, a husband, didn't have to change my name. The kids are ours. And I gave birth to what I like to call the Sher method. So there you go. So if you think you can't make money with LinkedIn, think again.
Rhonda Sher, everybody. That's the end of our show. Y'all have a great day. That's a crazy story. That's so fun. Okay, so yeah, what a cringy thing to say now. Different time, right? Ooh, okay, let's dive into this. First of all, let's dive into how you built and why you built your group coaching. Not as much oh, LinkedIn helped me do that. Here's how. We'll get to that. But why did you decide to build a group, first of all? Because most people kind of start with this whole one-on-one thing or done for you service. What was the impetus of I should do this for the group?
Well, actually, I was one of those people that was a one-on-one person. And the problem with the one-on-one is, number one, it's exhausting. I love it with the people that I work with, but number one, you got to constantly be finding new people. Number 2, once they're done, right? They don't really have a place to escalate from. It's kind of like when you go to the therapist, they do their job, they're great, you're healthy, and you're on your way. Well, and I thought, well, what about a one-to-many model? I can touch so many more lives, and it doesn't have to be at an investment point that's just so unreachable for the masses. So what I figured out was that there were people that already had audiences and they needed an expert. So I reached out to those people. And of course, how did I reach out to them? On LinkedIn for the most part. And I said, it looks like a lot of the people, and I did the research, it looks like you could probably benefit from a program that would teach your audience how to upgrade their profiles and use LinkedIn to get more appointments. Would you be open to me putting on a complimentary webinar? I didn't call it a masterclass, I called it a webinar, and giving them 90% content. And at the end, all I would like is the opportunity to actually give them the opportunity to enroll in a group coaching program that I'm going to be launching. And one of the little secrets, Chris, that I did was I said, one of the things I'd like to do is I'd like to gift you into my course. And all I want you to say is, hey, this course is so good, I'm going to take it. Now, they didn't say I was going to pay for it. They just said, I'm going to take the course. So now the person that's bringing me on is already endorsing me, saying, well, you know what, guys, I'm taking this course. I really think you should. And so I made a very soft offer at the end. And by the way, the course had not been created yet. Okay, it had literally not been created. All I had was a landing page and a registration. And I'll tell you one of my other little secrets, Chris. I actually said, I love people that take action. So if you decide that you want this and it's right for you, take $100 off right now. If you decide 2 days later, well, guess what? I get that $100 and you don't get, and all you get is a write-off, but think what you can do with $100. So I would get a really high rate of enrollment right at that. And then I launched the masterclass. I launched the group coaching program. And when I was done, I did two things that kept it going. One, I got testimonials, right? My last class, I always gave a bonus. And I said, hey, I just want you guys to really get to know each other and tell me what your takeaways were. So then I could use those testimonials on my next landing page when I launch this again, right? And then the second thing that I did was I created the next level of that class. So I said, okay, well, now you guys know how to create a killer profile. What if you could learn how to get appointments? So second group class, and I enrolled them. And before I know it, this was just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And when I had the testimonials, it allowed me to go to other people that also had groups and say, hey, this is what I did for this group. I already had the testimonial, right? They said how great it went. And they would put me in front of their group. And then the third thing that I did was I went on LinkedIn and I created my own events. So I created an event on my company page. I got my quote unquote friends, my connections who already believed in me, and I asked them to invite people. So now not only was I having other people allow me in, I was doing it myself, self-generated. And I'm telling you that this was so easy because now I was reaching tons of people. And every time I got a testimonial, and I remember one in particular, Chris, I had a woman that she only came to the masterclass. She didn't even take the group coaching program. Okay. She didn't even sign up for it. And she said, your class was so amazing. I got 3 appointments and a $10,000 executive coaching client. And I blew that up. Like, she didn't even take the class. So I went and said, well, imagine if you took the whole class, what your numbers would be. Can you add a couple zeros to that? So that's how I started doing the group coaching. And I haven't looked back because it's so much fun to be able to do this one-to-many where you make it affordable, you create a community.
So, okay, you listeners out there, you need to pause where you are right now and back up like 3 minutes and replay that like 10 times. There were so many nuggets in there. Going from one to many, turning this into something, by the way, really clever idea on how to get your host, the people that are speaking on your behalf, to just like already bought in. Great opportunity to help fast action takers really get a benefit out of that. Just so much there. Okay, when was this? When can you kind of date stamp, or how many years ago was it when you realized, oh, I need
it was probably before the pandemic. It was before the pandemic. I think that was when I really started this, because up until that point, I was a lone ranger.
Yeah. Were you nervous about making that jump, or were you just like, oh, this is obvious, I'm going to do it? How'd it feel?
I wasn't nervous because I knew my stuff. I could do this with my eyes closed and my hands behind my back. I didn't need a PowerPoint. I'll tell you that one of the secrets that made it really, really work was I wasn't just sitting there with PowerPoint. I was actually being interactive. So I would jump in and I would say, okay, unmute. Do we have a volunteer? And the other thing that I learned I have to give full credit to Joel Bauer. I don't know if you know Joel Bauer, but I studied with him for years. And he calls it permission to reveal. Okay. So I would do my whole presentation and give away these great nuggets. And then I would basically say, okay, you guys, you know that in less than 60 minutes, I can't give you everything. But what I'd really like is permission to reveal my family, show you my why, and share with you that if you'd like to go on this journey with me, how you can continue to work with me. And then here's a caveat that I added. If you want to leave now, that's totally cool. If you got everything you need, leave. You can't hurt my feelings. I have kids. Go use the stuff, right? And nobody left. Like, not only did they not leave, they stayed and asked questions. So it was really the structure, give. And I put a lot of stories in there, testimonials of other people that my audience could relate to. And then I asked for permission. Can I share with you how you can continue to work with me? And then the last part was, I truly believe in incentives. So if you've ever watched, I joke and I go, I have a black belt in shopping, right? I watch HSN and they go, oh, if you order now, you don't pay shipping and you get blah, blah, blah. So I would basically say, hey, if you know this is for you, if there's no reason that you wouldn't do this, because 3 months from now, you're going to be in the same boat, then I would like to give you a gift. Take $100 off. Now, if you have to wait and think about it for 2 days, that's cool. I'll be $100 richer, but what could you do with that $100? And that would literally boost my enrollment.
Okay, so walk us through that $100 thing real quick. How does the $100 go? So the price is.
So I would have on my landing page for the first 10 people. All right. Little secret, it wasn't 10. I never stopped it at 10.
Sure,
okay. Yeah. Full disclosure. I would just say, hey, for the first 10 people that are action takers, because I love action takers. Here's my coupon code, put it in, and then I would bring up the screen, show them where to put it in, and say, take $100 off. So here's my question for you.
$100. So they're now, okay, gotcha. Yep.
So now they drop down. So if my course was $697, it was $597, right? And basically I would say, what would you do with $100 if you had it? Because if you wait, that $100 is just a write-off. But if you use it now, I'll tell you what I would do with it. I am so not a foodie. I would go out to Olive Garden with my husband and have a really cool dinner. That would be fun for me. That's what I would do with $100, right? What would you do with it? So I actually future-paced them into thinking, what could they do with it to get them? If they're already going to do it, why not do it now? And by the way, this is only good for the first 10. So if you happen to be number 11, you might not be able to get it. And all of a sudden, before I even got off the webinar, I would get 10, sometimes more, just because I didn't turn it off.
That's a really
And I get all these messages in the chat. Am I one of the first 10? Am I one of the first 10? It was so cool.
Love the tip of giving an incentive for the first X number of people. That's really great, because people really do want to make a decision. And all of you folks listening, people really want to make a decision. They need help making a decision, just like I do when I'm purchasing things. Okay, by the way, for those of you who are listening, not watching, her website's on the screen, Rhonda Sher, theshermethod.com, the SHER method.com. The Sher method, spelled SHER.com, is her website. You can reach out to Rhonda there. She's obviously big on LinkedIn. Her LinkedIn link and everything is on her website. You'll find it all there. Go to the website. Rhonda, so you have a group program and you teach people about how to get their calendars booked via LinkedIn. Give us a couple of tips. As long as we got you here, we may as well pick your brain on the good stuff right there. Yeah.
So here's the really cool thing to do, okay? When we all have connections. How many connections do you have, Chris? You must have thousands of connections, right?
It says 10K plus on there, but that's where it always caps out. So I have no idea how many we have.
Well, you could actually figure out how many you have, but how many of those people do you actually know?
Oh,
probably
5? I don't know. 100 of them? I don't know, something like that.
So here's one of the easiest things to do, honestly, right? Everybody says, oh, I got to go out and find new business. Well, the truth is you already have a community, right? So why not? Now, I use video. I like Dub. It's just a really cool video platform, but you can use you can use Loom, for goodness sakes. You can use anything that's free, right? And what I would do is I would go through my first level connections, the ones that I know are either centers of influence, people that could refer me, or potentially are my ideal client. And I would send you a video. Okay. And I would say, hey, Chris, it's Rhonda. It's been a minute. We're connected, and yet we haven't had a conversation. I would love to jump on a call, learn what you're up to, share a couple of cool AI tools that I found, and see how we could support each other. And here's the key thing that I would say. I promise this is a no sales zone call. If this sounds good, remember this is video, right? If this sounds good, I'll drop a link below to my calendar. Looking forward to seeing you soon. 70% of the people book on my calendar.
No way.
How do you have an empty calendar when you're literally reaching out to people that are already connected to you? The other strategy, which is even just as effective, is go look at the posts of those people that are your ideal clients, ideal referral partners, make a thoughtful comment, and there's some cool AI tools. So this is only going to take you 30 minutes a day, okay? And what happens when you write a comment, because hardly anybody does it, they'll go and look at your profile, right? So what I would do is I would do the same thing, either a message or a video, and say, hey, Chris, I loved your post about what you're doing with Group Nation and your group coaching program. Your stuff is awesome. In fact, I want to share it with my audience, and I'd love to jump on a call and learn how we could support each other. If that makes sense, here's a link. P.S. I promise I'm not selling anything. Again, when you tell somebody you're not going to sell and you're inviting them just to get on a call, you'll never have an empty calendar again. So do the math. 2 calls a day, 5 days a week, that's 40 calls a month.
Yeah. And okay, so this is a great strategy for getting people on the calendar. Let's talk qualifying these people and not bait and switching them if they want to become a client. How do you handle the transition there?
So it's never a sales call in that first call. Okay, that first call, first of all, you do your homework. What does that mean? You look at their LinkedIn profile, you see what you have in common. So oftentimes I'll look at a profile and say, oh, I see that you are a mentor for Big Brothers and Sisters. My daughter used to work for them. Or I'll say, oh my gosh, you took landmark courses? That was how my husband and I got reconnected. I find an area of commonality. Okay, it could be anything from, oh my God, I saw you're from Boston. I grew up there. Whatever, you just read the profile, right? That's the first thing. The second thing is basically asking them. So Chris, let me ask you a question. I have a pretty big network. If I could introduce you to anybody, if I could do anything, what would be the best way I could be of service to you in terms of my network and resources? Now, what typically happens is you're going to say, you know what, I'm actually more interested in knowing more about what you do. Okay. And my response is, that's great. This isn't a sales call. We can set up another call and I'll tell you what I do. I actually want to know, can I introduce you to somebody? Hey, I know this guy named Chris Williams. He's got this awesome program. You might want to check it out. I just look for ways to be a resource. So it's a 2-step process. Mm-hmm. Think about your first date with somebody. When you have that first date, even if you're in a coffee shop or you're having lunch, do you say to them, by the way, I want to know your credit score. I want to know if you have a criminal record. I want to see your check. No, it's let's just get to know each other. That's all this is. So it's not, a bait and switch. And it's always just about creating that rapport.
Love that. Great model. Okay. What's the number one thing that you've learned along the way while working with LinkedIn? Because it's gone through so many iterations. People get locked in, locked out all the time. There's all these bots on there. There's lots of good and bads about every bit of it. What's the biggest aha moment you're having right now as you're so deep into it?
Be real. That so many of the things that are out there are and I like AI, believe me, AI is a great time saver. But I really think it's really about relationships and being relatable. So number one, use video. When you're reaching out to somebody that you've already connected to, use video. That way you stand out. They actually see that you're real. When I send a video, it's this background. It's not a Zoom background. It's this background. And it's like, hey, Chris, Rhonda here. I just wanted you to be able to actually put a face to the name since we're connected. The other thing is make sure your profile is current. I can't tell you how many LinkedIn profiles I look at and I'm like, I have no idea what this person does. I don't even know how to reach them. And the other thing is I would say, don't be afraid to pick up the phone. Seriously. Play with the paid version for a month or two. It tells you who's looked at your profile. I could pick up the phone and call you and say, Chris, I see the little green dot, so I know you're online. Chris, I noticed you just viewed my profile. I was so excited that you did that. I'm curious, what made you look at my profile? And if you don't pick up the phone, I leave you a voicemail and I go, I know you probably don't recognize the number. No problem. I'm just calling because I saw you looked and I'd love to talk. And by the way, I know of this really cool networking group that you might want to come to. It's free. And a lot of people there probably need your services. So feel free to either call me back. This is my direct number. Message me on LinkedIn. And that's the thing that makes things work. It's all relationship based.
That's so great. I think we so lose track of that in our AI bot driven world these days, which I love. I love tools, but the tools still have to have a human. Yeah.
Yeah, if you go to the dentist is going to examine you, but he still has to go in your mouth to fix it, right? So it's relationship driven. And I think what happens is we get so caught up in these tools that we forget that in order for me to give you a referral, I still have to know, like, and trust you, which means I have to get to know you.
Yeah. Love this. Rhonda, you're a rock star at this. Oh, one more time. Rhonda's website, theshermethod.com, SHER. Here's what I'd recommend everybody do. Rhonda, just pretend you're not listening for a second. I would go stalk Rhonda. I would go to her LinkedIn, go to her website and see what she's doing because it's freaking genius. It really does work. She's got a great group structure. She's got a great clientele. She's helped over 1,000 people. She's written 6 books. She's an international bestseller. She's legit. She knows what she's doing. Go do the stuff. Send her a message on LinkedIn. Send her a message on LinkedIn and let her talk to you. You need to see how a real person does this because so many people out there do this in a spammy way. Rhonda, thank you. By the way, what's your handle on LinkedIn?
It's actually Rhonda L. Sher. So if you put in Rhonda L. Sher, that's how you'll find me. Or it's linkedin.com, right? /IN/Rhonda L. Sher.
Nice.
And here's a little tip for people too. There's a cool Chrome extension called Incognito, right? You just get it in the Chrome store. If you want to go check out people that are doing what you're doing, but you don't want them to think that you're stalking them, just do it incognito because if they happen to have the paid version, they'll know. So just look at their stuff, and what I like to call it's R&D, which is, by the way, not research and development, rip off and duplicate, but do it in a way that actually makes it fit you. So you know how you can differentiate yourself from everybody else.
But nobody use incognito when you're hanging out and checking out what Rhonda's got going on LinkedIn. Let her know you're there. Tell her thanks.
Yeah, let me know and I'll reach out to you and say, hey, thanks for checking out my profile. And by the way, if you want to jump on a call, I'll give you a few tips. Or if I happen to have a new class coming out or I'm doing a free complimentary webinar, I'll let people know. And the other little tip too, if you are launching a group program and you want to use the power of LinkedIn polls. LinkedIn polls will actually tell you who's interested. And if you have a course that's already pre-recorded that you've already done, one of my colleagues did this, Chris. It was the coolest thing I've ever seen. Basically said, how much would you be willing to spend for a course on XYZ? And the first choice was $97. The second one was $147. The third was $197. And the fourth one was not for me. Whatever they said, he sent them a message and said, this is your lucky day. Here's an invoice. It's $97. The guy made 10 grand off of a poll.
That's a really great idea. That's so fun.
And the landing page wasn't up yet. So it's like sitting on an airplane. You don't know how much the person next to you's paid for that seat. They could have gotten a freebie or they could have paid full boat. But if you're just basically saying, how much would you pay and would you buy it? You send them an invoice and it's whatever they said it was. Okay, done.
That is such a fun idea. That's interesting. You got so many good ideas. Okay, we got to go. Rhonda, we can hang out for a second after. We can't keep these podcasts short. People just don't have time anymore, right? Okay. All right, Rhonda, her website, The Sher Method. That's spelled SHER method, theshermethod.com. It's her website. Go check her out. Her LinkedIn profile and everything is linked on her website, so you can find her and talk to her and all the stuff there.
And
Rhonda,
download the free LinkedIn planner. There's actually a gift right on the site.
look at that. It just never stops. Rhonda, love what you've done. Love how creative
Thanks.
you are. Like
Back at you.
you're actually thinking about this, which is so great. So many people just copy paste. You actually think. I love it. Okay, everybody, we always say this, Rhonda: do work, get results. But we just want you to do the right work. No hustling, no working 80 hours a week. Do the freaking right work. It's way simpler than people make it. You got this. All right. Do work, get results, folks. Talk to you soon, Rhonda. Thank you.